And welcome back to Mr. Gregorius Math. Today we're taking a look at using some right angle trigonometry to find a side length. So we have a triangle and it has an angle of 75 degrees. It has a side length of 15 and an unknown side length of x. Whenever I do any trigonometry work, I always like to start off by writing out SOH-CA-TOA. Remember that stands for sine on highway, cozy at home, or tan on arm. And that allows you to choose which ratio you want. There's also another phrase that we can use for it, but we'll leave that one for the comments. So what we need to do now is label our triangle based off of this angle. So we look across from the angle and we say, okay, this is the opposite side. We know that the longest side of the triangle is always the hypotenuse, but because there's no variable or given information about the hypotenuse, we don't really need that label. So our last label then is the remaining side. So we've got the hypotenuse and the opposite already dealt with. That means that the only other side is the adjacent side. The reason why it's so important to label your triangle is because these letters connect back into SOH-CA-TOA. We can see that there's an opposite and a hypotenuse, and over here a situation where we have an opposite and an adjacent. So with the correct label, we know which ratio we're going to use. Looks like we're going to use this ratio here. So that's our tangent ratio. So we'll set it up. We do the ratio name, we leave room for the angle, and we create a fraction. So our angle was 75, so we'll do tangent of 75, and that's going to be equal to 15 over x. That's 15 over x. And now we need to solve for x. Interesting. Well, because we have x in the denominator, we actually need to multiply both sides by x to isolate it. Because to solve for a variable means to get it alone in the numerator side. So those would cancel and be left with x is equal to x tangent 75 is equal to 15. Now we want x all alone. So we'll get rid of this tangent 75 by dividing both sides by tangent 75. So when they cancel, and we calculate whatever 15 over tangent 75 is, we should be able to figure out what our value of x is. So I'll go to my calculator, and it has a tangent button on it, and it has a 1 button right there, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm going to need an equal sign as well too. Probably also going to need a division sign. Okay, I think I have enough in my calculator here to type my buttons correctly. So I'll go 1, 5. So 1, 5 divided by tangent 75. And up on my screen I should have 4.019. So that means that my side length is about 4.02. Now we can round to 1, 2, or 3 decimal places depending on what we're asked. But in this case, we'll probably just leave that at 4.02. Okay, that's all for finding a side length. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and check the details in the comments for merch.